Thank you. Miles, happy birthday. Us, happy anniversary. All of us. Mimi, Susan, Laura, and you know, these indispensable, perfect, discreet, charming, talented interns. Thank you. Those of you who were smart and were here for Tom Lux's craft talk heard him talk about synesthesia. I will start with that very quickly. My parents put me in a nunnery in an orphanage when I was 3.5. I escaped when I was 17.5. I've been happy ever since. Don't worry. Okay. But I had to tell you that because of nuns and stuff in my work. English flavors, it's about synesthesia. I love to lick English. The way I licked the hard, round licorice sticks the Belgian nuns gave me for 6 good conduct points on Sundays after Mass. I love it when plethora, indolence, damask, or my new word, lasciviousness, stain my tongue, they thicken my saliva, sweet as those sticks, black and slick with every lick it took to make daggers out of them, sticky spikes I brandished straight up to the ebony crucifix in the dorm with the pride of a child more often punished than praised. Amok, awkward, or knuckles have jawbreaker flavors. There's honey in Hunter's Moon, right? Hot peppers in Hunk. And mellifluous has aromas of almonds and milk. Those tastes of recompense still bittersweet today as I roll, bend, and shape English in my mouth, repeating its syllables like acts of contrition, then sticking out my new tongue, flavored and sharp to the ambiguities of meaning. Thank you. I'm not from Texas, as you can hear, and I'm from Belgium, and I am Flemish. Belgium is divided in 2, South French, North Flemish. Loving you in Flemish. Let me love you in my tongue tonight, heavy as percheron hooves on fields lying fallow and humming with rain, their rich and dark loam steaming. I know words lazy as canals gliding among willows and yews, green as Memling's velvets or Bruegel's mossy farm roofs. Angry clappers on belfry bronze or moaning tugboat sirens, Flemish undulates like dunes or glistens with the spume of granite piers in Ostend. I know the lingo of the blue Antwerp alleys where women learn lust from the sea. They're too hungry for one sailor only. Let me love you with words uttered only there, words the many-tongued whores whisper. Kom mee onze nacht in Antwerpen verdwalen op de klank van de straten asiel amoureus alle die geen geld om plezier te betalen. Ik zal u goed vragen. Heel goed en net genereus. Onder de grens van de manen stralen wordt heel onze wereld een nauwelijks bed. Kom mee naar bordelen vol mensen en matrozen. Vergeet uw naam en al de rest. Do you want the translation or shall I just leave it mysterious? Okay. Let's lose our night together in Antwerp. Don't the sounds of the street seduce your soul? And though you're too broke to pay for pleasure, I'll be your woman, generous and sweet. Under the glimmering rays of the moon, the whole world will be our bridal bed. Come with me to brothel, full of women and sailors. Forget your name and all the rest. Pat Flynn mentioned a word that doesn't exist in English. Saudade. Did I say that right? Saudade? Saudade. And I was thinking of another word that doesn't exist in English and that should. And it's Milan Kundera who talked about that word. It's litost. And litost is, you know, it's like duende. You need 10 minutes to explain it, but they are rich enough to have one word for that, right? Well, litost is an unnameable, deep, impossible to survive, but you survive it anyway, pain. That's litost. And this is a poem about that. And waters went on shuffling chance and light as the boy jumped into the river. He had come home from school that day with a drawing for his dad, and found him overdosed on the couch. The Czech have a word for what drowned that boy, for what it is that guts a woman's belly long after an abortion. A word for what hurts exactly when a sheet is pulled over a child, a mother, a soldier. In sheets pulled over a child or soldier, there is litost. At the auction of his tractor, litost plows a farmer's heart. In bombs strapped to a terrorist's chest or in the guns pointed at him, litost. Kundera tells us it's untranslatable, that we have no word for that in English. But here's the point. What if we did? Would a word make such pain more tolerable, as if language could help? Here's my litost poem. And it, you know who I'm reading it for. I was asked to read it. It's called Stillbirth. On a platform, I heard someone call your name. No, Laetitia, no. It wasn't my train. The doors were closing, but I rushed in, searching for your face. But no, Laetitia. No, no one in that car could have been you, but I rushed in, searching for your face. No longer an infant, a woman now, blonde, 32. But no one in that car could have been you. Laetitia Marie was the name I had chosen. No longer an infant, a woman now, blonde, 32. I sometimes go months without remembering you. Laetitia Marie was the name I had chosen. I was told not to look, not to get attached. I sometimes go months without remembering you. Some griefs bless us that way, not asking much space. I was told not to look, not to get attached. It wasn't my train. The doors were closing. Some griefs bless us that way, not asking much space. But on a platform, I heard someone call out your name. Thank you. I'm going to read this for the most talented poets. And you know you're all talented poets, but I don't know you all, but the most talented, they're all so talented in my workshop. And I've been speaking a lot about Larry Levis. If you don't know Larry Levis, you're poor. Read Larry Levis, you'll be richer. You really will. And I was also telling my I don't want to say students or participants, my co-poets, my whatever it's called, about my fascination of observing people. And I sometimes follow people. I I do it a lot. I actually stalk people. And this is a poem about that. Man at the Museum of Modern Art. Whose name will be on his lips when he dies? Whose body, the weight, skin, fervors of it, will he remember? Who was his first ugliness? What his first treason? He won't stop walking, doesn't look at anything. He wanders from room to escalator, hall to other space for an hour now, carrying a plastic bag, a thick hardcover askew in it. Why do I follow him? What makes me do that so often in streets or subways even, getting off before my stop to follow a man or a woman or a couple? Yesterday, on a park bench, I listened long to the plucked, hushed vowels of two women who spoke a language I didn't understand. Their voices so drained, I felt hatred for something, and I couldn't name, and still can't, and it isn't life or fate or... But this man today, with his knitted scarf and old brown shoes, in this insufferably civilized place, it's Larry I see, Larry Levis, his casual gesture, that staring beyond schism in his gaze, the head always tilted back or away too much. I would have stalked him too, from subway to street, bench to bus, wanting answers and then turning away. What else can I do but turn away, as I did from my first ugliness, hiding my face in my arm to stop seeing Hannah's gaze? We were only 6 and I was already evil. I can't forget her, Hannah the hare-lip. How horror stalks us, as desire does, or love, or hunger. What answers do I want from this man lost in a museum, whose name will be on my lips when I die? Thank you. Kurt Brown and I lived in New York for a very long time, and this poem was written in New York. When I sat at my writing table in my room in New York, if I didn't move, and I just moved my head from there to there were 87 windows of the building across the street. All you need to know here is that my son worked as an intern in his last year of internship at the Charity Hospital in New Orleans and before Katrina, and that hospital has now disappeared. Night. Lights go off one by one in buildings across the street. There's something solemn about this. The lone drone of cars and cabs, an urban lullaby to shut windows. Pull the sheet over this day. Subway driver, Torah reader, birthday girl, pimp. Pull the sheet, soldier's mother, corpse dresser, drunk man's bride. Sleep, my daughter, sleep, my son. And sleep, Jeremiah Smith, the newborn my son delivered in a charity ward today. Sleep. Wrap a wing around the orphan, the hungry woman, the caged man. Shut your eyes, face your walls. The scythe's blade is tilting toward the earth. So sleep for the one who knows horror, or the one who dares speak in any God's name. Don't listen to the clockmaker. He's setting the alarm. Sleep until it rings. Sleep toward the waking and the windowless night. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to read 2 more, and they're quite new And I thought this would be a place where I'm comfortable trying something really raw and new. This poem is called Room in Belgium. And between us, I'm writing that room in Belgium. I'm imagining now how it is the room where a kind, loving man took me in his arms for the first time of my life. And I was sort of looking back and saying, how is that room now? Is it still, what is that room now? It's called Room in Belgium. Dust covers the windows, but light slips through, it always does, through dust or cracks or under doors. Every day at dusk, the sun, through branches, hits a river's bend and sends silver slivers to the wall. No one's there to see this, but it dances there anyway, that light. And when the wind weaves waves into the water, it's as if lit syllables quivered on the bricks. Then the sun sinks, swallowed by the dark. In that dark, more dust settles, sighs over everything. But there's no silence there. Something always stirs, not far away, small rags of noise. Rilke said that most people will only know a small corner of their room. I read this long ago, but still don't know how to understand that word only. Love, I think of you. Search for you in each room that comes between me and dusk, me and dust. Love, torn corner from this life. And this is the last poem. Arroyo Burro Beach is along the Pacific, and I am lucky enough to be 4 minutes, and if there's traffic, 4 minutes and 30 seconds away from it. Arroyo Burro Beach, January 2014. The tide dies a while, then starts its way up again and up again. Fog rolls in, sudden and cold. There's a rock halfway to the end of the bay, hunched, split in two, black and blue with mussels. And that's where I turn around now and walk back each day. A restlessness swells inside the tides there, and it's there each time, just before I can look away. Then everything drowns into itself again and into gray. I no longer pick up shells from the beach. I let them be. Waves rake them back, then hurl them at my feet again anyway. Small skeletons, empty of life after all, but pretty. Look at me now. Riding circles around what I must face. The man I love is dead. And the ashes I was to lose to these waves are still in his room, in a red box he gave me for some birthday. I turn away from this tide, from the restlessness inside it, lost now inside this fog as it turns everything into ocean gray, past gray, ash gray. I'll come back tomorrow, as I do for each morning, glad for this beach, glad for its tides, glad for things that do come back, but still unable to add more ashes to this ocean, more gray. Thank you. Thank you.